Hello and welcome to a new vlog, and I am back after feeling a little bit poorly. There's Matt, we're unpacking the shopping, so I'll show you what we've got. I'm still bunged up with a cold. In fact, after this I'm going to upload today's Vlogmas and then I'm going to go for a nap. Okay, so we've got a bit of a haul going on. So we've got some, Matt's going to do a Sunday dinner for us on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we've got some...
Well, a Christmas dinner, really.
Yeah, like a trial Christmas dinner. We've got friends coming over. So we've got some peppers, we've got some pigs in blankets, which is sausages in bacon. Not actual pink piggies. Not alive piggies. And then I've got some, Maureen's got some fresh cream scones. Slip of the tongue there. They're, of course, they're for Maureen. Then we've got a British beef roasting joint. That's for Christmas. So we're going to freeze that one. We've got some parsnips, some potatoes. We've got some frozen sprouts. Got some bacon for dinners, because we've been having some sausage and bacon breakfast sort of wraps for dinner. These are nice, cheese and potato gratins.
They're lovely.
We keep those. There's some cheese, carrots. We've got the chanterelle carrots, beef tomato, and some bleach. Oh, and some polish. We do use, I forgot to get some from the Cherries haul, but there's Mr. Sheen multi-surface polish. And that is the haul. And I've got some Amazon packages as well. So there we go. Shopping haul complete. Yay. Hi everybody, it is a frosty morning again. We literally haven't got out of the frost. Bo has demanded to come outside. We've got Rory out as well. Molly definitely won't come out. She is well and truly tucked away in the warm. It is freezing. I woke up feeling a little bit better this morning than what I have done previously. Although now Matt started to feel a little bit icky. So we'll have to see how that one goes. Matt's making us a breakfast sandwich, the same one that I had before that he made for us, and he's really good at them, so I'm going to let him carry on. But yeah, it's sunny. You can see the sun on the back fence, but it's just, look at all the cat paw prints, but it's just really, really cold. You can hear it crunching, listen. So yeah, oh, it's a bit warmer if I stand in this sun, but as you can see, it's just very, 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 very cold. Now, I know that other people in different countries have even colder weather than us. You know, -6 isn't exact. Well, I don't think it's -6 today, but it has gone as low as -6 this year so far. That isn't cold to some countries, but to us in the UK, when, you know, most of us aren't putting our heating on as much as what we would normally do because of the cost of it, it just means that we're cold. So yeah, I mean, we have been putting the heating on, but just not as much. You know, normally we'd put the heating on probably from when we wake up, so, you know, 6-7 o'clock in the morning until one of us goes to bed. So pretty much all day. So the hours where the house isn't heated wouldn't be that much, whereas, you know, now we're limiting it to, you know, maybe 5-6 hours a day. So for the most part, we're really cold. So I can't wait for everything to return to normal. In fact, it's really, really doing my head in, to be honest. It's a bit of a stress and a bit of a worry, but I think it's the same for everybody. And I think all countries are having it one way or another. My parents just got back from Australia, and they said that obviously, you know, Australians, because of the air conditioning and things, you know, with electric, so they're having the same issues, but not with heating, but with electric for aircon. And I think it's going that way in the US as well. So it's not just us, everyone's got it, unfortunately. So we're just having to do as best we can, but we have been using hot water bottles and all kinds of things. So I'm gonna babysit Bo, and then hopefully we'll get him in. Egg runny, and there is the bacon and the sausages. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Ooh, look, it's like one of those videos on TikTok where you see all the egg all runny. Yummy, 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 yummy. There we go. I've just been out delivering some Christmas cards to some neighbours in the village. Just thought I would go. Ooh, I'd almost slipped then. There's a lot of black ice on the ground. As you can see, it's very frosty. So I thought we'd go for a little bit of a walk. I'm going to zoom out so you can see the whole scene. It's really beautiful around here, and I'll take you to the pool. It has been frozen over, I mean, you can see what I'm walking on. It's pretty slippy, pretty treacherous. I do have my Ugg boots on. In fact, they've been doing a little bit of dredging around here because these channels were all completely blocked, and it's really nice to see them all channeled out properly where the water flows into the main pool. So yeah, that's really nice to see. I think there's some good work there that's gone on. There's nobody really around today. As you can tell, it's just very, very cold. So I've delivered my Christmas cards, and there's still a few more to either post out or drop off to friends and family. I mean, in the summer, this is really a beautiful spot with the picnic table. Oh, I think they've managed to get a little bit of water. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I will take some photos, probably put it on Instagram. But this is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm glad the ducks have got some water now. But this is just absolutely stunning. I mean, just look. It's so peaceful and calm. It's just a really beautiful wintry scene. I love it. Hello and welcome, and today we are going to be making some sausage rolls. Now, I know that most of you will probably buy your sausage rolls from the local supermarket. However, nobody wants those pale, blanched pastries, especially the menfolk. The menfolk, they know what they like, and I know what they like. They like a little piece of meat. Right, I'm going to run you through some of the ingredients. We are going to be using a tablespoon of mustard. We're going to be using some ground chili flakes. We're going to be using 1 onion, 1 egg. Of course, the sausage meat. Now this is pork sausage meat that I bought from the local supermarket. Also, we're going to be using some pre-made puff pastry. Now, puff pastry is the best. It is the way of escoffier. The French way is always the best way. And I find, and all I'm going to do with you, of course, is to show you the ways that I have found to make life most easy. Just roll puff pastry is the best. Nobody wants to be there slaving away over a pastry, do they? Who's got the time for that? The modern housewife does not have the time. Simply does not, especially in these hard economic times. So, you do also have a choice. Usually I would make these sausage rolls, of course, with some stuffing. But of course my purse just can't stretch. I don't know about yours. But if yours can, you can of course add some stuffing at the mixing stage. I will tell you when that is. But of course everything is in the booklet. Right. Oh, also, we're also going to be adding some bacon lardons. You can choose whether or not you wish to add these. Again, if your purse can't stretch, don't add them. First step, of course, is the onion. We're going to be frying 1 onion, like so. I always remove the outer layers, because nobody wants to find those horrible little bits of skin in their bite, do they? Especially Pa and Ma at Christmas. They don't want to find that. So there we go, peel it off. Now, of course, you can wear, and I would highly recommend that you wear some plastic gloves whilst doing this. Some people also find that they wear goggles. Lots of people write in and tell me that I should be wearing goggles. Well, I'm going to be doing it the way that I do it, the way that I find most easy. And I feel that fingernails, peeling an onion, is far superior from what you can achieve wearing gloves. Okay, so chop off the ends. Nobody wants to find those horrid little bits of ends, do they, in their onion? Right, now the best way, of course, is always the French way. Hold your onion down and give it a chop. Now it can be a rough chop because once the onions have been caramelised down, of course when caramelising you always add brown sugar. If you haven't got brown sugar, then I suggest you go and you get some because white sugar just simply does not give the same effect. Brown sugar is the best. Right, so loosely chop those, and of course you can go back the other way, just so that when they're all caramelised down, they aren't going to end up in huge chunks. There we go. Chop, chop, chop away. Okay. course, I would usually have some assistance, but my assistant is ill at the moment. So there we go, there we have it, some chopped onion. Now, you need a little bit of olive oil in the pan, of course, to get that going. So we'll add a little bit of olive oil, give that a bit of a swish around. Whilst, of course, I'm doing this, I need to preheat the oven to 200 degrees. What I'm going to do now is to add the chopped onions into the pan. An ordinary frying pan will do. Everyone should have one in their home. And there you hear the lovely sizzle of the onions. Now, of course, when they start to turn brown, you can add a few tablespoons of the brown sugar. Demerara is preferred. And then, of course, it will begin to caramelize. So this is where the magic begins to happen. You take a spoon and you start to sprinkle rather evenly some Demerara sugar. That should be enough. And stir in. And give it a good stir and mix. It's easy when you know how, isn't it? Now it's also at this point, at this stage, that I will add a handful of chili flakes. There they go into the mixture. Now, of course, if you do not wish to have those, if you are not partial to heat in your food, then you do not have to add them in, and it also reduces the cost. Of course, be careful, once you have done this, to wash your hands carefully, because you do not want to go scratching in any unfortunate areas. And also some white pepper for seasoning. Okay, so there we have the onions completely caramelized. We're going to remove them from the heat and let them rest for a moment while we prepare the sausage meat. Okay, so the next stage is to prepare the meat. What I always find is the most easiest and quick and simple way, of course, is just to simply cut off the top of your tube. There we go, just like that. Now, what you need to do is to take a very firm grip. Pinch the end of your meat. Hold your meat in your hand. You can, of course, hold it the other hand if you find it easier. I'm going to hold it with my left hand, and of course my leading hand will be my right. Simply take the pinch and squeeze your meat down, making sure that all of it comes out, because you don't want to waste any of it, especially in these hard economic times. There we go. Everything is out. It's simple and easy when you know how, isn't it? Now, what I normally do is take the wooden spoon and, of course, your caramelized onions, and it's now time just to squish your meat. There we go. You can give it a good beating. There you go. Now, then you add your onions to the mixture, like so. There we go. Make sure that you don't waste any of the onions, because they do make it extra yummy. Now we can start by giving it a little bit of a pre-mix. So there we go. Give that a mix. Now, it's also time to add your bacon lardons. So you don't actually have to add any salt, because these add the salt and the flavouring. In they go. Don't forget to give them a mix. Mix at all stages. It makes it far easier. Also, adding the bacon lardons bulks out your meat, and then your mixture is extra yummy. There we go. It makes a nice sound, doesn't it? Right, I can now turn off my extractor fan, save on the money. 1 tablespoon of English mustard. Where's my spoon? 1 tablespoon of English mustard. There we go. Now, if you like things extra mustardy, you can, of course, add a little bit more. I'm going to add just a touch more, just to taste. There we go. Again, make sure that you're not wasting any of the mixture. There we go, in it goes. Now again, give that a really good mix. There we go. Get that all in. Okay, then it goes this beautiful yellow colour. Okay. Now, of course, you can keep this mixture in ordinary household refrigeration for a few days. And of course, the longer that you do leave it, the mixture does taste a lot better. I have previously pre-made this mixture, and then a day later, I've made it into the sausage rolls, and it does give that extra marinated taste. Let's move that to one side. Now, the next step, of course, is to prepare your pastry. And the one thing that I always do to prevent any sticking is to brush some ordinary household butter. I prefer to use butter. The old-fashioned way is always the best way. And of course, I just give it a good old dab. And it also helps, I think, with making the pastry extra crispy. So there we go. I just rub that all the way around. Make sure that you get into all the corners. Don't miss any out. Don't be a fool and miss any out. There we go, all the way around. There we go, nice and easy. There we go. Okay, you can wash off the excess. So the next step, of course, is to prepare your pastry. So we have not spent time slaving away making pastry. Most housewives do not have the time these days. So simply pre-bought, store-bought is just as good. Okay, so what I do is I very carefully unroll. Now, of course, because it is in this preservative paper, you don't need to make sure that anything is floured. It is all perfectly fine, and it comes in, of course, one sheet like this. I turn it round the other way because it has a tendency to curl up the way that it was rolled. So flip it over, and you can leave on the paper for the moment. Now, the next step, you have to be a little bit precise. You need to measure. Of course, you can just get a usual typical ruler. I, of course, like to use this regular tape. It works. So, we are looking at 14 inches, which is a very good size, and 35.5 centimetres. So what you need to do is to divide that into how many different rolls that you need. Okay, so I'm going to divide it by 3.5 inches, which should give you roughly 4 equal-sized sausage rolls. So you go 4, make a mark, 3.5, make a mark, 3.5, make a mark, and then you've got 3.5 left. So you do the same on the other side. It helps you to cut them nice and evenly. So 3.5, make a mark. You don't need to go all the way through at this stage, just make a mark. 3.5, make a mark. And you repeat until you get to the end. There we go. So now what you should be able to do is to lay your tape measure, you match up the lines, and then you simply cut all the way down. See, it's easy when you know how, isn't it? Now, of course, you will find the whole recipe in the booklet. I've written it all down, so no need to worry. There we go. And then you will have 4 equally sized sausage rolls. Okay, so bring your mixture back into the fold and get rid of this plastic. Of course, make sure that you do your typical recycling. Waste not, want not. So what I like to do is to separate out the pastries. And of course, this is the point where you need to start your mixture. Now, one thing that I would advise is to remove any ring pieces that you have on your hands. So I'm firmly going to remove my ring, take it out. Nobody wants to get any mixture stuck in their ring, do they? So what I do next, I kind of equally separate out the mixture. So I know roughly in the bowl, so you're trying to be clever about it. I try and separate out 4 sections of meat. Now you may find that is slightly too much and you may need to redistribute. You can, of course, make some balls at the end if you have any mixture left. So what I do now is you're going to have to use your hands There's no need to be shy, get straight stuck in. And what I do is I start moulding it in my hands. Now, of course, if the mixture is a little bit too wet for you and your liking, you can, of course, add some flour. So, what we need to do is to spread the mixture all the way to the edges. Nobody likes to get to the edge of a sausage roll and not have a full mouthful. And of course, these will be far superior to any that you buy in the store. Make sure, as you can see, that I am shaping as I go. I'm making it into a kind of round, yet slightly flat shape. So you make it round, you can mould it with your hands, and then you just squish down. Now I'm going to do this for all of them, and then we'll come back and we will mould the pastry. So again, get the mixture in your hands, start to roll it out. It doesn't matter at this stage. You can always spread it out, like so, all the way down to the ends on each and every one. Shape as you go. Okay, so there you should have some equally spaced out, equally sized sausage rolls. None of these empty sausage rolls that you would find in the store. Bring over your tray, and you can start now actually shaping out the pastry. So what I would normally do is just pinch lightly with your fingers. You can stretch it out, because otherwise this is not going to go around the amount of meat that you have put in to your sausage rolls. There we go. Give it a tease. Don't pull too hard or else it will break. Slow and steady wins the race. There we go. So again, as you're pinching, pinch out equally. Now, you can start with the sides. So what I would typically do is to start rolling like this. And then I would start to tease out. There we go, tease out. Then you bring the other end over and you make a join. Now, it doesn't matter if it's exact, because in the baking process, any anomalies will be smoothed out and Pa will not know the difference. So again, with your fingers, just lightly tease over like this. There we go. Now, with a little bit of cold water from the tap, you can of course mould even more, but it won't matter, because as soon as it's on the tray and you've given it the egg wash, everything will just gel and mould together. So there we have one. So there we have one of them, and at this stage you can then start to transfer over to the tray. And what I like to do is I turn it the other way over and I give it a little bit of space. So there we go. You can of course neaten off the ends, but if you see, my meat goes all the way through to the end. And repeat with the other three. And there you have all four. It's very easy when you know how. Let's remove this paper out of our way. I've already cracked one egg, and you give it a good beating. There you go. Pretend it's someone that you do not like. There you go. Give it a really good beating. Give it a really good beating. Now this, of course, is for the egg wash. So you take your brush. Now if you don't have one of these brushes, one of these pastry brushes, now of course if you do not have one of these pastry brushes, a method that I have found that works is you take an ordinary piece of kitchen roll, you make it into the shape of a brush, you can dip it in fact I'll do one, I'll show one earlier, so I'll do one with the brush. There we go, so take that and glaze over. This of course will make your pastry extra gorgeous, extra golden. Make sure you get all down the sides. There you go, you can be very, very generous. I'll do the last one with the tissue. So there we go. Now at this stage, now of course at the stage before putting on the egg wash, you could of course have made the decision to make these sausage rolls into mini sausage rolls. All I would simply do is to take my knife and cut them into the sizes that you want. I would recommend that each of these sausage rolls would probably make about 3 individual mini sausage rolls, and they would still be rather substantial. There we go. Right, so I will show you the other way of doing it. So there you go. You take that, you can dip it in, you take it, and then you glaze over the top. Dip it back in, and simply glaze over the top. There we go. One of the reasons why I make these programs are to share the tried and tested ways that I have found to make life easier for the ordinary domestic housewife. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways of scoring or poking the sausage rolls. I personally prefer a slash. So you just simply take your knife and make several slashes across the top. This is my preferred method, and I will do 2 of them in this way. If you prefer, you could just take an ordinary fork and you can poke. There you go. Go all the way along, make your mark. And of course, when they come out of the oven, I will show you. And you'll be able to work out for yourself and decide for yourself which method is better. So of course we cannot leave the sausage rolls here on the baking tray. So therefore we are going to have to transfer them onto this. I'm going to use a pizza base. Hi everybody, I'm back. So obviously I'm back as me. Now I've got to explain what went wrong here. Something actually did go wrong. And it's me, it's my fault, it's not the recipe. So when I used to make these last year, what I actually used to do at the rolling of the pastry over the meat stage, I used to cut them into 8, rather than making really long ones. Then about halfway through the cooking process, I used to turn them over and cook the underside. So what's happened is the bottom of them is really, really weak, and it's kind of collapsed. They taste fine, they're perfectly cooked.
Oh, I can confirm they taste beautiful.
Yeah, Matt's picking the tray. But I didn't do what I normally do last year. So I should be writing that in the booklet. It's easy when you know how, isn't it? But no, next time I do them, I shall add the stuffing, because last year I added stuffing, we don't have any this year. And I shall make them into 8s. And then basically one of these will just be chopped in half, and then I will turn that into sausage roll. Anyway, practice makes perfect. There we go.
Yummy.
Is it yummy?
It's really yummy. Nothing wrong with these, man.
Oh, well, that's good though.
I'll definitely eat these over the pumpkin stew.
Right, so there's going to be no time today for Advent, because it's already nearly 20 to 6.
Ooh,
and I haven't even got this vlog edited and uploaded. So I will catch up the next time I do it. Tomorrow is going to be a house tour.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Yeah, so bearing in mind, the house tour that I put out in Vlogmas and the one that you're going to see tomorrow are both ones that we've already put out, but these are the unedited versions with all the fun bits left in.
Yes.
Because these were tours that we were made to make 10 minutes long. So yeah, I've got the unedited versions and I'm going to put them out as part of Vlogmas. So if you've enjoyed today's Vlogmas, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share it on social media, and of course do hit the bell so that you know whenever we upload new videos. So from us, mwah, to you all, and goodbye.
Bye guys.